Oh, here we go again, my friends, back for another Budget Lawns video, and today we're going to talk all about mowing. Not the obvious stuff like you should mow because it makes your lawn look better, but I'm going to give you the top 5 tips and benefits for a better lawn. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. I know there's probably a lot of you out there that were a lot like me when I first got into lawn care. Absolutely clueless. I had no idea that so much went into taking care of a yard. I thought it was just mow it every once in a while and that's all it takes and it'll look great. Boy, was I wrong. So I had to start diving around all over the internet to find the tips and tricks to make me have a nice lawn as well. And it was kind of hard to find those at times. Well, I want Budget Lawns to be that place where you go and you can easily find the questions and answers that you're looking for. But before we get started today, please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications bell, thumbs up this video, and leave me a comment. Show some love and support to this channel so I can keep this content coming to you each and every week so you and I can go on this lawn journey together. It's time to get into why we're all here, and let's get to the tips and benefits of mowing your lawn. Tip number 1. Now this one might scare some folks, but you gotta mow often. And by often, I'm not saying you have to mow every day or every other day. I'm just saying you can't get by with mowing once every 2 weeks. You should be mowing at a minimum once a week. Now I'll mow twice, sometimes 3 times a week, just depending on, how gung-ho I'm feeling. But if you like mowing, this is not a problem. I mow often because I think it's fun. But it also has its extreme benefits as well. For one, you're going to get thicker, more uniform growth out of your lawn. It's also going to be healthier too. The more you mow, you're going to promote healthier plant growth. It's going to help it fight pests, and it's also going to help it fight diseases. This one's a big one as well. It helps control weeds. I know we've talked a lot about weed control with pre-emergent and post-emergent products, but you can also fight that battle just by keeping a good mowing schedule. And finally, mowing regularly can also help it retain moisture, minimizing how much you have to water and keeping it from drying out. So you can see, mowing is not just all about making it look good. It has many benefits to the plant that you need to take advantage of if you want to have a super nice lawn. Tip number 2, to bag or not to bag? The age-old question. Short answer is don't bag. Mulch those clippings. 1, if you've got other stuff to do in the yard and you got to mow, it saves you some time to get to those other things you want to take care of. 2, it helps deposit organic matter back into the lawn and aids in fertilization. Now, depending on what your fertilization schedule is, it's kind of a common rule of thumb, I guess you could say, that if you mulch throughout the entire season, you can kind of count that for 1 round of your needed nitrogen. I think really it's somewhere around 33% of what you need. But a lot of people are concerned that if they don't bag their clippings, they're going to spread diseases or build up thatch, and that's just not true in most cases. The only time I will bag my clippings is when I'm scalping in the spring, and that's about it. Very few other times during the year will I bag. Now, if you have a bad weed infestation, you might consider bagging so you're not spreading those weed seeds all over the place. I never did that when I had a weed problem. I'm past that now. I just saw every time I mulched anything, whether it be weeds or my grass, I was putting it back down into the soil as organic matter, and it was going to promote the overall health of my lawn in the long term. So leave that bag on the wall, in the attic, in the garage, wherever you keep it, unless you're scalping in the spring if you've got a Bermuda grass lawn. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3. Who would have thought that how much grass you mowed off really made much of a difference at all? And you may have heard this before, but I'm talking about the 1/3 rule. Benefits of the 1/3 rule: one, you're going to have greener grass. And why are you going to have greener grass? Because you're going to have less scalping. Now, I've got a Bermuda grass lawn, and Bermuda grass, only the top portion of the leaf blade is green. The rest of it's a brown stalk. So if you take off more than that top third, you're going to start cutting all the green off, and you're going to get down into brown. So it's going to make your lawn look brown instead of that pretty green color that you're looking for. So whatever height you're cutting at, just make sure every time you mow, you're only taking off that top third of the grass blade. Now, let's just go for an example here. If you've got a Bermuda grass lawn, 2 inches is really the max height you should be cutting at. So if you're keeping your height of cut at 2 inches, then about the time that grass gets to around 3 inches, you need to go ahead and mow, and that will cut off 1 inch, which would be 1/3 of the plant, and you won't risk getting down into the brown part. You'll have a green, healthy lawn as a result. So that kind of ties into mowing frequently. If you're mowing all the time, you'll be able to stay on top of this, and you'll have a better looking lawn on a consistent basis. On to number 4. Tip number 4, change directions. Now I've got about 4 different patterns that I use in my lawn. I'll go horizontal with the sidewalk one time, vertical 2 at the next. I'll go diagonal, and sometimes I'll do the old box technique. Whatever your favorite patterns are, just find them and switch them up every single time you mow, because when you do that, you're going to promote more upright growth, because every time you mow, it's going to want to lay the grass blades down. So by switching directions, you're going to keep them up and prevent them from laying down. Not to mention, if you go in the same direction every time, that's running those wheels on your lawnmower over the same spots every time, and you're going to run the risk of getting some pretty gnarly ruts in your lawn. So long story short, mix it up a bit, change your direction each and every time you mow. Tip number 5. Now this one might seem kind of bonehead, but you know, a lot of folks don't realize that this is actually very important when it comes to mowing your lawn, and that is to sharpen your blade, keep it sharp at all times. I mean, the benefits might not seem obvious to some people, but really they are. One, you're going to have a cleaner cut. It's just the overall look is going to be improved when you have a sharper blade. It's like cutting through a piece of paper with a dull pair of scissors. It's not easy, and it doesn't look that good. So you're going to have a nice clean cut, and you're going to have a lot less pulling on those grass blades. Instead of that dull mower blade pulling on the grass blades, it's going to cut nice and smoothly through it. And that's also going to result in healthier, greener grass. Because if you're pulling on those grass blades, you're tearing the tops of the grass blades off. It's kind of leaving a little brown across the top of them. Instead of seeing the green you want, you see those brown frayed edges. So you don't want to do that. It's also going to be healthier because it's going to be less susceptible to diseases by opening up those tips of the grass blades. And it's also going to help it retain water as well. So the benefits to something so easy as sharpening your mower blade, are just too simple and good to ignore. So make sure you keep it sharpened. You should be sharpening that thing no less than twice a year. There's some people that sharpen it once a week. So just do it. You're saying there's only 5 tips? No, wait, there's more. Bonus tip, double cut. All right, why double cut? Well, 2 cuts are better than 1. It just looks awesome. You know, I pretty much double cut with my rotary mower each and every time I mow. Gives me a little more time out in the lawn as well. The lawn is kind of my, what would you say, my serenity space. It's where I go to unwind and de-stress and just be by myself. So if you don't have time, double cutting is not one of those things you have to do. But if you want it to look awesome and you want more time out in the lawn, feel free to do it. It ain't gonna hurt. I can tell you that much. So those are your 5 tips plus 1. Now, if you haven't figured out by now, these are the tips for all my rotary mowing friends out there. If you've got a real mower, guess what? We're gonna go over that later on this summer because I just got one of those a couple weeks ago. Haven't gotten to use it yet. The green that we had just got blitzed by some freezes this past week. So I'm still waiting to take that reel mower on its maiden voyage, but that's coming up real soon. And after we do that this time, sometime this summer, we'll come back and talk about some mowing tips for reel mowers and the difference between it and a rotary mower. But for today on Budget Lawns, that's all we've got. I appreciate you watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe. It really does help out a lot, so it keeps us lawn care creators wanting to bring you more content so you can have your best lawn possible. We'll see you next time here on Budget Lawns.